and welcome back to my channel, Planning with Bree. Today I'll be showing you my January setup, but right now I'm flipping through my 2022 Plan With Me bullet journal setup, and you can find that over at my channel, or I'll leave it in the cards above. So for this month, I wanted to do a city skyline. Now, I don't know what got into me, but I was like, it's about time for a vacation in the middle of January. So I looked up this place called Cartagena, Colombia, and I just showed a picture there of what the city skyline looks like and what I was trying to replicate. And it is just a very, very beautiful city. So the two shapes, or the two buildings that I have over there on the right hand side, those are their cathedrals, or this very famous cathedral that they have. And it's a gorgeous orange color. When I color it in, I'll show you guys a close-up of what it looks like. But those were in the front of the skyline, and then they had their buildings of their downtown in the back of the skyline. See, right here. Isn't that a beautiful orange? I tried to get a marker that matched it as best as I could, so I used my Cali Art marker. And then I just went in and shaded in the rest of the buildings. Now, I wanted to also showcase where this was on the map, which is why I added the outline of the South America continent. I added the outline of the South America continent, and I put that little red pin right where Cartagena is. I hope I'm saying it right, which is right on the tip of the top. It is described as a port city, so it's right on the water. And then I'm going to add some details to the buildings. The cathedral, as you saw in that picture, had a lot of white detailing, and I just add that in with my white gel pen. Now for this entire spread, I'm going to be using my Crayola Super Tips in various shades of tans, browns, dark browns. And then I'm going to be using my Cali Art marker for some of the brighter colors. So I wrote out January in the calligraphy, or the faux calligraphy, and then I outlined it in a dark brown color, which helps it pop. And it just gave it a detail that I love so much. I'm going to be doing this more often. So I just shaded in the thin lines, and then I outlined the thicker lines that were the downstrokes. Then I put my small calendar at the bottom. For those of you who know me, I don't really plan in my bullet journal, but I do like the aesthetic of the small calendar. I'm also going to create a Dutch door on this page, so I'm going to cut this out, and that'll be it for my first spread. All right, guys, moving on to the next spread, which is the goals page right behind my Dutch door. As you can see at the top, this is the picture I used as a reference for my drawing at the bottom of my goals page. And I just loved the colors on this building. So I tried to find some Crayola markers that matched the colors as best as I could. The bright yellows, the bright greens, the blues, the reds. I did my best matching the colors with my Crayola set more than my Cali Art set, just because the Crayola set had more variety. So I drew in the balconies, and one of the balconies, which I thought was so cute, had different color railings. And I really tried to bring that out, and I hope it translated. Like, once I get done with all of this, I hope it translated, because it brought so much character to that building. So I'm going to finish up drawing here, and then I am going to write out my quotes at the top of this page. I was looking for inspiring quotes, for January, just to bring in the year strong. And, when you think of January, or at least when I think of January, most of us have, plans and resolutions and things that we want to accomplish for the entire year. So that was one of the things that I wanted to make sure I encapsulated in this January bullet journal setup. So the quote I chose to go at the top of this page, it was by someone who was unknown. There was no credit given to the person who said this quote, which is kind of unfortunate because I would have wanted to shout them out. But the quote is, "Never let your memories be greater than your dreams." And as we move into 2022, some of us have done some good things or some extraordinary things in 2021 and 2020. And some of us may not have, but even whatever it is, we still have to dream bigger than what we have already in our memories. At least that's what I am going to try to live by. So I just drew this out just to kind of keep it simple. I used those two tan and brown colors to do the lettering. And I'm going to do the same lettering that I did on my title page. So I do the faux calligraphy and then I come back to do the outlines. And this is a better angle of it. And you guys can see what I'm saying. Like the thin lines, I just filled in. And then the thicker lines, I went around it. And I just love how it popped. So on the next page, I am going to write in just a section for my goals. And again, keeping it simple, I use the same 2 or 3 colors, I believe. So this is my Crayola Super Tips tan. And then when I go in to do the yellow on the side, that's also a Crayola Super Tip. And then just to give it a little bit of detailing, I go in with that really light Cali art marker just to give some flair or some character to this rectangle right here. Usually I only do about 2 to 3 goals per month. And the goals on this page are going to help me set up my habit tracker that I'm going to set up on the next page. All right, guys, we are going to move on to my habit tracker. So I am going to use this image right here as a reference to set up the drawing on this page. And like I do most of the time, I just kind of went off of memory and how I interpreted the picture. So I just drew in this balcony in the same tan and pale yellow colors that I've been using throughout the spread. And I used the dark brown to go in and make some details. I also went in with my white gel pen to make the details on the window and the window doors. I'm not sure what those are called, but I use my white gel pen to fill those in. And then I go in with the green to draw in some of that beautiful full greenery that was in that picture. For the most part, I just use squiggly lines to draw out the stems of the greenery. And then I drew some leaves as, a regular leaf shape. But most of these are just kind of scribbles to fill in the vines to give off that full effect. So for this habit tracker, as I mentioned, I use my goals page to plan out my habits. Usually I use the same 8 habits or very similar 8 habits. And I section them off. 4 is for mental well-being and my spiritual time and my time and connectivity with God. And then the other 4 is for my health and losing weight and eating well and things like that. So as I'm setting up where I'm going to put the headings for this page, using those, going back and forth between those 2 lightest colors, I messed up right there. And I messed up in a way that cannot be fixed with the white gel pen. So I'm going to explain how I fixed it. Every time I do a Dutch door, I always save the clippings and put them in that back pocket. And then I just cut out a strip of the paper and pasted it right on top and wrote over it like nothing ever happened. So on this spread, I am tracking the habits: read my Bible, praise and worship, prayer, Daniel's fast, and all of those go with my connectivity to God and as well as the Daniel's fast, which I do for 21 days of prayer and fasting, Transformation Church, every January. And then on the right hand side, I have my habits for my health and losing weight, which is drink a gallon of water a day, eat less than or equal to 1,300 calories, cardio, and weights. Now, these are my daily habits. Last year in November, I did set up my habit tracker to where I separated them between like daily habits and weekly habits. But for this month, these are the most important habits for me to track. So in the middle right here, I was thinking, this is a lot of space. How am I going to fill it? And then that picture popped up in my head of those umbrellas hanging, going across. And I had never seen that before. So that's why I chose to put these in here. Such a beautiful pop of color. And I love how that spread turned out. Now the last spread I'm going to set up in my January setup is the mood tracker. I always try to push myself to find mood trackers or create mood trackers that are creative and out of the box. And this time I chose to do one of those window sills that I had been drawing so much and seeing so much of in these pictures. So I am filling in the negative space for this windowsill so that the flaps of the window door, I need to find out what that's called, but the flaps of the window door I'm going to leave as white, and that's what I'm going to fill in every day to track my moods. So creating this was not hard. It just took some time and thought. There was even some times where I paused the video and I was like, oh, this isn't coming out right, but it actually did. I'm very, very proud of how it looks. So after I go in with the negative space, filling all the negative space in with black, I then number my window seal. I number those from 1 to 31 to represent all the 31 days in January. And then I'm just going to fill in the border of this windowsill and then add a little bit of detail up at the top to kind of make it look like wood. And the last thing I do is to draw some greenery draped over the top of that window and onto the next page. So the page to the left is going to be where I track my moods. So I usually do a couple of different moods that go from like excited, happy, content. Here you'll see me write in NFI, which just means not feeling it. I'm just not feeling it that day. Which, it's not like you're in a grumpy mood. You know what that means, y'all. You're not in a grumpy mood. You're not angry. You just ain't feeling it. So, then I have tired and stressed. So most of the times I'll go ahead and fill these in at the end of the day. Sometimes I'll do them a couple days at a time, but I, really enjoyed the span of color that I used for this mood tracker. Most of them are still in that yellowish tan theme, but then I also have greens and some reds in there. And I actually might come back in and put some blues just because I want the colorfulness of this city to pop on this mood tracker. So I'm going to finish off by drawing in some of that greenery, and that will be it for this spread. And here is the final flip through of my January spread. I hope you guys enjoyed my interpretation of the colorful city Cartagena in Colombia, South America. Stay tuned for another video next Tuesday. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.